I started the recording. Okay, so let me just, there we go. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the first Women in Gaming meetup. I hope you will find it useful. You will find it educational. So in this meetups, we are going to be discussing good and bad parts of women in gaming. So today's topic is about sexism. So that's the bad part, but we will also try to focus on some of the meetups on the good. So all the achievements, more educational stuff. This, I already said before, does not exclude men from this conversation in any way. So everyone is welcome. I have about 5 questions ready for our speakers. So I'm gonna ask the speakers the questions first, and then later on you can add, like everyone can just add whatever they want to the conversation. You can jump in at any time. If you feel too shy to jump in, you can use the text chat at the side of Zoom. So I will be your host today. My name is Živa. I'm known as Zivus on the internet. I am the community and event manager at Reveris, and I've been a streamer for about 3 years now. So I've experienced a lot of harassment on that part as well. And I would like to introduce the other speakers as well. So here is, next to me is Rok Gumzej from LOGOUT. So you can say a few words about yourself as well.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Rok Gumzej. I work for LOGOUT. LOGOUT is a Slovenian center for, let's say, digital well-being. So I'm a consultant there. What we do is we help people who are struggling in any way with their usage of devices, whether it be video games, whether it be YouTube, whether it be other risky behavior one can do on the internet. We also have a program for helping victims of online harassment, online abuse. Also, in my free time, I'm also a gamer. I'm also a streamer. I do YouTube videos, also do some events at some points, gaming events in Slovenia. So yeah, that's me. Is that my introduction? Is that it? Is that fine?
Yes, that is perfect.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
And then we also have Enolla LoLNoxi next to Rok. So if you'd like to say a few words about yourself as well.
Hi guys, I'm Noxy. I stream on Twitch, mostly League, that's why LoLNoxi. And I occasionally cosplay, although during like quarantine and stuff, I haven't gotten to it. Also a bit lazy, also school, but yeah, mostly a streamer.
Okay, I would like to also mention now that, as you can see, the ones that have been following Reveris, our company, we are now finally streaming from our space. So we are planning to open the Esports Innovation Center for everything esports gaming and technology related. I just forgot to mention that before, so I'm mentioning it now. Otherwise, I think we can move on to like our first question. Before that, actually, I just remembered, I have one poll for you, for all our attendees, to understand our target audience a little bit better. I'm gonna start a poll. What describes you best? So I'm gonna give you guys like a minute or so to finish this poll. So are you just a casual gamer, someone who casually plays games sometimes or whatever? Are you active in the esports community as a volunteer, so you're not getting paid for it, but you might like help organizations and stuff like that? Or are you actually employed in an esports or gaming industry, so you actually get paid for what you do? And in the meantime, while you are deciding on your answer, we're gonna switch to the first question, which is, did you ever experience harassment? And if so, do you mind sharing the experience? Now, I'm gonna leave this to Noxy first, because I wanna hear more about sexism, like on the side of sexism, if you ever got sexist remarks online when you're playing games, when you're streaming, whatever. So just that.
Of course, like every gamer's probably got harassed at some point in time, like in a more sexist way, mostly. Like, ever since I changed my nickname, it's been better, but like if people knew me or like knew I was a girl or I played a certain champion in League or a certain hero in Overwatch or like an agent in Valorant, doesn't really matter. I got specifically tagged because like they assumed I was a girl because I don't know, I guess Noxy sounds like a girl name and they just assumed, or like they heard on voice. So yeah, that was like quite a few times actually. Like especially once you get to higher elo, they don't really get to attack your gameplay as much. They mostly get to attack like the misplays that they also do, but like yeah, they just pointed to your like gender more than anything else.
From my experience, it felt like the higher the rank, the less sexism you got, because
In
players. No, I play Valorant and CS:GO, so I don't know about League. But in my experience, like in shooters and stuff, it was like the higher you got, the more like people didn't care about your gender. They just cared about like the gameplay and like how you play. So I guess this is different between two different games, right? So
yeah, I mostly experienced it in League, mostly because I don't know, a lot of players got, I mean, a lot of girls got boosted to a certain elo, and that's why like it threw like a negative lash to all the females, I guess. Like it didn't matter what you play, it didn't matter how you played. It just was like that. Okay, a few like well-known girls in the community got boosted, and then like mostly because of that you got flamed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and as we know, not only women aren't the only ones who get, trolled and harassed on the internet. So I wanted to ask Rok about this as well. If you got any other sorts of like harassment, maybe not sexist, but
I mean, sure, right? It's gaming. That's part of the problem because it's so normalized, right? Because everybody answers, yeah, sure, right? It's toxic behavior, right? You just report them, right?
Yeah.
And that's I think part of the problem is because it is so normalized. I do have one experience that I would maybe like to share that's more specific. So the first time I ever put a YouTube video a gaming YouTube video on YouTube, right? That was 8 years ago. The first comment I got was, and I don't even know if I can say, is this a place where I can say words that are not,
maybe not
nice
racist
words?
terms or something like that, but if there's
okay,
just
no, I'll explain it without saying it. So I got a comment saying, the first comment I got was, "Who's this blank now?" And the blank thing was derogatory term for homosexual person, right?
Okay.
I'll explain it like that, right?
Yeah.
And it hit me so hard that I couldn't do it. I stopped doing it. So I put one video on and then I didn't do it for half a year. It took me half a year to process that one single comment. So I cannot imagine how I would feel if that was like a constant in my life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, sure, right? I experienced it, like most of us have experienced it, right? Only if you play like single player games like that never connect to the internet, then you're like safe, but otherwise.
And even then, like probably somebody leaves a nasty comment on your Steam
profile
or something.
They find you, right? They just find you, right?
They're so like out of spite, they just like they search for you and find you to leave a bad comment. Yeah. I also had like one recent thing that happened that I would like to like point out. So I've been playing Valorant a lot since this came out. Before that, I was big in CS:GO community. I obviously, like, as soon as I use my mic, it's like game over usually, right? If I solo queue. But there was this one time where I solo queued in Valorant, and basically what I did was just do a call out over a mic, like where the enemies were, and they heard that I was a female. And till the end of the entire game, I got screeching over the mics to go back to the kitchen and go make them a sandwich. And that wasn't like one time. That happened to me 3 times in that 1 week when I started playing Valorant. So that is still very much a thing to happen. Since then, I've managed to find a team so I don't have to solo queue, and I actually play with a team that doesn't screech into my headphones. So. But yeah, thank you for. Oh, you want to say something?
No, I just because I don't have that kind of experience, right?
Yeah.
Like usually, like, okay, I don't really use voice chat a lot, but even if I do, it's like whatever, right?
Yeah.
but then hearing that, right, it's like, what, right?
Yeah.
What, like how do you play, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like we lost that
don't.
game because I literally like I couldn't even hear the game. I had to mute all of them to even hear the
Yeah.
gameplay. And then when you mute your teammates, you can't communicate with your teammates and you lose the game, right? So that's why it was so hard for me to get to any higher rank because I just had to deal with that on a constant level. So on a daily
Well,
basis.
for me, like a similar thing happened in League, I guess. Like, I don't know, I had like 2 years ago, I guess I had Nami most played, and there was this Draven mate. I still remember, like, it's so bizarre that I still remember this dude. He was like, "You're my slave now, and if you don't follow me, I'll int you." And it's like absolutely disgusting. He like followed me around the map all the time, flashing, healing next to me, like. Then after game, he adds me. He types the most absurd stuff, like I don't know, a bunch of sexist remarks, a bunch of like, okay, if you don't do this and that, if you don't send nudes and this and that, like I'm gonna, I don't know, find you, and like basically threats. And I
Yeah.
still remember this dude, and it's like, yeah, sure, that there's a blog button, but like it still sticks with you. Like, I don't know. I was so freaking scared of playing Nami ever since then. It's like
It's
I
quite
always
bizarre.
like feel a little bit uncomfortable when I lock her in. It's like, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna show the results of the poll we took. Let me just share results. So as we can see, we're mostly either casual gamers, and there's a lot of employed people here too, like employed in the industry, I mean. So that's very interesting to see, actually happy to see that. But yeah, I also wanted to say if anyone from the attendees would like to share their story, they can just jump in at any time. Okay. And otherwise, we can move on to the next question. So I was wondering, like, how do you feel the way the sexism is in gaming right now in Slovenia? How does it compare to the rest of the world? If you have any experience, if you have any thoughts about this, how do you feel like it compares to the rest of the world? So I'm just gonna give the word to Rok this time.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing is, okay, so cyberbullying, like let's say cyber or like harassment in general, right, is not something that you can really contain within a country because it's an international event, right? Even in Slovenia, we have this like, I don't know, godlike society of non-toxic people, right? The second I go into an international server, right, I can meet again, I can come in contact with toxic people again. But so looking from the perspective of our work, right, what we see in our line of work is that like every kind of internet harassment or internet violence, cyberbullying, is on the rise. And like even if we talk about like a bit sexist here, like for example, like so I do a lot of workshops with kids, right? We do workshops in schools as well, and we talk about with kids about this stuff, right? And it's very, they don't even see it as a thing. That's a thing, like for younger generations, right? So if I comment on Slovenian youth right now, they don't even see it as a, like a lot of times we have this discussion, right? Is like what's worse, traditional violence or like cyber bullying or like virtual violence? And a lot of times they're like puzzled by that question because they're like, yeah, but that's just like but that's just a comment, right? Or that's just a thing you say, right? Or that's just a naked picture I sent to that girl, right? Or a dick pic, right? That no, but I mean, like, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's their reasoning, right? It's very normalized in today's youth to send stuff or say stuff that's very inappropriate. So
They
even
kind of
like,
don't.
yeah,
They kind of don't see that there's a person behind that.
yeah,
because they
that's
only
yeah.
see the screen.
Yeah, anonymity of the internet is a thing here. Also, like some studies show that like excessive use, for example, of social medias can lower, like kids can lower their empathy, right? They're less empathic. And like, so in general, like some studies show that like up to a third of kids today already experience some form of like virtual abuse, verbal abuse through the internet. Now, I don't know which percentage of that is necessarily sexism, right? But so, for example, one statistic is that maybe fits into this sexism topic is that like sexual threats, for sexual threats, like 83% of victims are women, right? So the general, like the biggest, like the big part of the people who get these threats are normally like sexual threats, right? Are here women. So like, I think it is it's on the rise. I think it's on the rise globally and also in Slovenia. But I hope, and this is hope here, that as time goes on, because like, so the percentage of female and male players is slowly like equaling out, right? Evening out. Even like when I ask kids, right, who plays games, right, today, like half of the people that raise their hands are women and half of the people are like female and male, right? It's not a big, like when I was growing up, it was a male dominated hobby, right? Now it's not anymore for the younger generation. So I hope this change in also demographic change will bring some like
will lessen the effect.
Thank you. Lessen the effect. Yeah,
because like one thing that I also was thinking about is like sexism in the industry itself, like not just between casual gamers, but when you're employed. So ever since I've been working here, I actually was really surprised I haven't like got any sort of sexist remarks from, at least from the people in the industry. There were like others watching me trying to get into the industry and, you know, having sexist remarks, but people in the industry, and I don't know, I know that here in Slovenia, there's a problem that it's right now esports scene is very small, and it's very hard to actually get paid for doing something like that. Like a lot of events are made by volunteers. And I feel like that's because like these people really want to do that. The people who organize these kind of events and stuff, they really want to do that. They do that out of their free time. And I feel like that's why you get like a bit more like serious people, and there's less sexism because they're just like, just let's get it done, you know? Like they don't care, like you're a woman, you're a man, just get it done, you know? Maybe, I don't know. That's how I see it. I want to also now give the word to Noxi about this topic as well.
I mean, I would say the Slovenian scene, like I wouldn't say it's sexist, I would still say it's like extremely toxic towards each other, but it's always explained as just banter, even though they like, I don't know, exclude some people from the community, like because it's such a small community, right? It's easy to kick one person and exclude that one person from the community. So I feel like that's what usually happens. Like it's not, it doesn't go beyond that, I guess. Although I still think like excluding someone or like multiple people just because of skill, because of like certain relationships, I don't know, it's still like bad, I guess. But obviously I think like if you compare it to like the world scene, I guess it's like absolutely less toxic, but I don't know, wouldn't say it's not.
Yeah, obviously, like it's impossible to not like, there's sexism is always present, harassment is always present. You cannot just get rid of it, you can just lessen it, you know?
I mean, it doesn't go beyond like making fun of people, I guess, but I guess some words still stick. It's more like, I don't know, because it's such a small community, like people usually gang up on one person. They have like, or like they have like specific people, they're like, I don't like you. And then like one person and like three of their friends or whatever come and like poke at that person. But yeah, usually it doesn't go beyond that, I guess.
I would also like to comment, Tina sent a little text message to us. She said she doesn't experience harassment that much because she mostly plays League of Legends. And yes, that's definitely like the voice chat, definitely like brings it out more, because like as soon as you use the mic, they can tell that you're probably a woman by just, a higher pitched voice. I actually, just like for fun, I can share this story. When I was still playing Counter-Strike, I managed to convince the entire team that I was 12 years old, that I was a kid instead of a woman. And we started playing so much together that I had to like come clean because we made a team in the end, and they were all surprised. So that actually sometimes works.
Yeah, but it's still awful that you even have to consider something like that.
Of course.
Like, I don't know, just overall pretending that you're not, like, I don't know, denying your gender or whatever, I think is absolutely wrong. And like,
I mean, the way we actually, when we created our Valorant team, shout out to Rok on the bottom there somewhere, the other Rok, not you. The fifth player is also a girl. And we got her from randomly playing with like 4 people, and we got her in like randomly in our team when we were queuing. And we were a bit annoyed in the beginning because this person just didn't use the microphone. And we were like, come on, use the mic, we need communication to win. And later on, we realized that she was a girl and she was scared to use the mic, basically, because she knew that as soon as she's going to use the microphone, like she just gets threats and she gets harassment. And in the end, I was like, hey, I'm a girl too. It's fine. We're not going to like, you're safe here,
There's a, if anybody watches Dr. K, like the healthy gamer stuff, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So there was a talk with I don't know her name, but she was like a big advocate on Twitch for like that. Okay, doesn't matter. So the point of it was that there was an argument that basically voice chat gives an unfair advantage to males, right? Because you can't, because as a female, right, if you use voice chat, you're gonna get like flamed, right? You're gonna get toxic behavior. Like, even
if you don't get flamed, it's still like you have, I don't know, usually like guys notice that you're a girl, they obviously like express that, and
they start acting differently.
Yeah, but like not only that, they put like a certain pressure on you. Well, let's see if girls are actually bad at video games or not. And I feel like that's something that you shouldn't, you shouldn't experience that. Like, why am I holding like the entire skill of a certain gender like on my shoulders? Like, I don't want to do that.
It's also like at some point I remember all the pressure was put on this guy, random guy that I was playing with, because basically I remember I asked, in Valorant, you can ask for a gun if you don't have enough money. And I asked for a gun, for someone to buy me a gun. And this guy, buys me a gun like you normally do in the game, right? And then basically they flamed this guy, calling him a simp for the entirety of the game because he bought me a gun when I needed it, for example.
Yeah, I feel like whenever a guy like steps in and says something, it's like, I don't know, most guys don't even want to do that because they're afraid of like being called a white knight or a simp or whatever. So I don't know, I feel like a lot of guys distance themselves from that, and like I feel like that behavior is just like putting forward like the negative behavior, because I feel like it's like
they don't want to like defend you anymore. That's happened to me a lot of times. If someone was sexist towards me and a guy tried to like be like, hey guys, let's play nice, he was right away flamed for being like a white knight, for like wanting my nudes or something like that,
Yeah, and for some reason, like the bad behavior is advertised as a macho behavior. Like, you're such a cool dude if you do that. You're such a king. Go, let's do it. But, like I don't know.
Where do you get so the macho behavior, right? But who enforces that, right? Somebody has to like that guy. At some point, somebody has to say like, oh, nice, that's actually right. Somebody has to give him acknowledgement, right? I mean, either that or he just lives in a world like I don't want to say he, like
it comes from like-minded people.
Yeah. Echo chambers. It
comes from like-minded people, usually young guys or just
very impressionable guys,
those that are kind of distanced from the, I'll say, social aspect of real life.
Yeah.
They tend, I mean, this kind of behavior basically is what's the word? It's
Self-taught?
not self-thoughts. Anyways, yeah, that's where it comes from.
Okay. So why I ask that is, right, so where do we address it, right? Where do we go to start fixing the root of the
Real life,
right? Yeah,
Real
addressing the root, right? Because when you said, Živa, that you changed, Noxi, I think Noxi, you said that you changed your name, right?
Yeah.
And then Živa, you said you pretended to be
A kid.
right? I mean, that's just like that's it's an unfair way to solve it, right? To you guys, right?
Yeah.
So we have to address it actually, right? Like Team said, right? In real life, right?
Yeah.
It's
Here's the problem.
Yeah. Sorry.
Here's the problem. We are never going to get rid of toxicity in gaming. Never.
Well, we're not saying to get rid of it. It's
no.
more...
Of course. Sorry. No, that's okay. I understand what you're saying. I mean, yeah, of course. Now I forgot where was I going with this.
Sorry.
My bad.
You
My
can
bad.
jump in at
We're
any
never
time
gonna
if you
get rid of
remember.
toxicity?
Yeah, basically, I was saying that toxicity starts with real life, right?
Yeah.
So we can't ever get rid of it, but we can only lessen it. But I don't think a lot of change will come from online pressure for people to change, because those people usually don't care. Honestly, they don't care really.
Yeah. Well,
So
we have to start somewhere.
Well,
yeah,
it's like, okay, toxicity is always going to be present, right? Like it starts in primary school or like in kindergarten, you bully the odd one out. Like it doesn't have to be excessive bullying. You like kids are going to do what they're going to do. So I feel like if you want to address it like in that area, you have to go like way back, like online. Like when you're like online, it's already too late, right? When a kid gets the computer, he's going to do what he wants to if he thinks that behavior is okay, or it doesn't get punished, or so I'm just saying, like, for sexism, that I don't know, I want to be called a noob, I want to be called a negative word, whatever, but like as in the same regard as a guy would, it's like I want to get blamed for my gender, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, at least if you flame me because I suck, not because I'm a woman.
Yeah. Or like, don't put excessive pressure on me because I'm a woman and I'm like holding the entirety, like, and the entire skill of a certain gender on my shoulders or whatever. I don't want to do that. I just want to play my game. Like.
That's actually.
What about the other opposite side, where they don't flame you for performing bad because you're a woman, but like I would
prefer to be flamed like when I'm doing badly, and not regarding to a gender, like not to say, oh, you suck because you're a woman, but like you suck, look at your KD ratio, right? I would prefer that to like being set on a pedestal or being flamed for my gender.
Yeah, obviously.
Like I know what you were trying to say, like what happens when they put you on a pedestal because you're a woman. It doesn't feel that great, honestly. Yeah, sure, you might get a free skin or no out of it, but it's still like the messages you have to endure. For that to happen, it's never worth it. Like, no matter which female you ask, she's always gonna say, well, obviously you would have like exceptions, but like most females that you would ask, they would probably still say, no, I don't need that freaking skin, I just want to be considered as an equal, and I want to play the game as I want, as I please. I want to int sometimes because everybody has a bad day. Like, I want the internet space to be like an area where I can like go deal with stuff instead of like doing it IRL. So like, I don't know, it's you just want a mutual space.
Yeah, we actually already dived into my next question with this, which was like, what would be some kind of way to lessen the effect of sexism in gaming, and also what is the best way to react when you're getting harassed or trolled online? So that two-part question was actually my next question. So we already kind of started, like talking about this. I would also like to ask Rok this, especially as someone who's actually an advisor to kids, to youths in this regard. How would be the best way to react when you get something like that?
Very hard question, Živa.
Yeah.
Very hard question.
I know.
I'm afraid that I will not be able to provide you a satisfactory answer. Okay. But just before I go to that, I would just like to say, like in general, what we can do to prevent it, right? That was also,
of course, yeah.
So I think there's like 3 areas that we could, like, I don't know the word is target. So it's victims, right? So we should have, like, and I'm talking this about Slovenia specific now, right? So do we have options for victims of this to find counseling, to get help, to get support, to find even legal help, right? Like, because there are legal ways to, right, if there's somebody stalking you on cyber stalking or whatever. So that's the first. The second is working with perpetrators, right? So because the thing is that actually 50% of people who are perpetrators are also themselves victims of like cyber violence, right? And the third is that working with bystanders, right? Like, so we're all bystanders of a general gaming culture, right? We all see it, we all experience it, we all live in it, and we all see sometimes some toxic behavior. Now the question is, what can we do about it, right? Us, the ones that are not the victim and not the perpetrator, right? And I think all 3 areas of that are very much can be addressed with like proper education on this stuff, right? Nobody teaches kids, right? So, okay, we teach kids etiquette on how to eat. We teach kids etiquette on how to, like, behave when you have visits or something, right? It's like, even if it's just like informal learning, right? But we never teach them how to behave, like really teach them how to behave on the internet. Like, the internet is a wilderness, right? Just go and experience it, right?
Yeah.
Learn on the way, right? And then the kids come there and they see all the like not all of it. It's not all toxicity. I don't want to like, right?
There's a lot of toxicity still.
There's a lot of toxicity, right? There's also a lot of good stuff on the internet, right? And they see it and they think, right, that's how it is, right? So I think a lot of preventative work could do here a lot, right? To just teach the younger generation to, right? We already talked with team. I think team also, like, we mentioned that that like you would have to start them small, right? Even though like Tina said in the comments that she usually sees this from kids, right? Also from kids. Why? Because they are more impulsive, they have less self-control, they're more like, they don't know that actions have consequences, right?
I mean, I would still disagree with that statement. I don't think it's mostly from kids. I would say like it's also like I don't know, like the older men that enter my DMs, it's absolutely disgusting on how they try to enter a conversation. It's the same behavior from like a 46-year-old or whatever than from like a child. Like, I don't know, sometimes like the older men are even more disgusting, like especially on the sexism situation. Yeah, obviously they don't go and like, they're not toxic in the video game as a child would be, but like they're like poking where it hurts somewhere else, and it's absolutely disgusting.
They have more knowledge because they're a bit older. They have more knowledge, like how to really screw you up, I guess, mentally, because the kid will just tell you you suck or something like that, and they, I feel like, know more how to like really get you, really get them stuck in your head.
They go in with like certain phrases that are even more disgusting than what like a teenager or a child could say or would say.
Kids usually just repeat, right, what they see, and they just like repeat, like, right? So yeah, like that, right? What you can do about it personally, I mean, the usual like procedure, right? Report,
and ignore.
try to ban, ignore. I don't think a solution here is like necessarily to put bandages on, right? To change your name, to to basically
obviously not, but like you still have to do something.
Yeah, because you're basically like and also I think like personally to not feel guilty for being mad, right? Or to feel like, right? Because I think sometimes, I think Noxi, you mentioned that sometimes people say like, oh, it's banter, right? Why are you angry, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe, right, when I experience that, I can think to myself, okay, maybe I was overreacting. I'm overreacting. Is my anger justified? Is my is that okay what I feel? So to not criticize your own emotions when you're being actually harassed, right? It's not okay.
On that note, I would like to also add toxic positivity from some people. Some people would say like, oh, just ignore it, like they don't matter, you shouldn't, like this shouldn't get in you shouldn't even think about that, right? And that makes you feel then, like you said, guilty that you're even like thinking of that actually like did that actually hurt me? Like how could that hurt me? Am I so soft? So I think that
like,
also
I feel like females are like educated on like the behavior that like if somebody flames you because you're a girl, you shouldn't take that personally, like and you get absolutely ridiculed for like being sad about it or whatever, or getting offended, because like I don't know, there are like also females that like ridicule you for it because they've been told that it's wrong to feel bad if you get flamed for like sexism or whatever, or they don't even notice it is sexism because it's like brought up as a meme or whatever.
That's actually really interesting. I mean, bad but interesting is like that it's not always men that are sexist, I just had like my friend, my female friend, she plays Overwatch a lot, and she had a girl flame her for being a girl. Basically, she was saying stuff like, oh, I bet you got boosted, I bet that your sugar daddy bought you this computer, kind of trying to be the dominate the other female, or how should I put it?
Like I feel like females are getting pinned against each other just because guys act in a certain way, and then like obviously like 16-year-old teenagers are impressionable, so even if a girl hears it, right, she's gonna pick it up and say the same thing. Like I still have like in the back of my mind, when I know I'm like laning with a female or whatever, I'm still like, you're worse, and I feel bad about like that mentality, but like I grew up in a community like that, so
I sometimes feel like I have to do better. Like if I'm in this playing with another female that I know it's another female, I start thinking like it's that little thought on the back of my head, like you have to be better than the other female. You have to be the dominant one, and it's like, no, why? Like what is that little thought doing there?
Yeah, you get instantly put in a situation where you become extremely more competitive, or like you try to be better than a certain gender because you grew up in a community where like they pin you against each other for having a certain genitalia or whatever.
And Rok asks, how does that work? Women flaming on women for being women? Well, like we said, it's like, I think it's more about like that being the dominant woman, I guess. I know it sounds funny, but like, I think that's
you don't want to be like other girls.
Could it be, I mean, that in case, I'm just guessing this, right? Could it be that in case she's bad at the game, right, she will give fuel to the right stereotypical, right?
Maybe.
So you think, please don't suck, please.
Yes.
Right? Please don't suck, right? Because
otherwise, it's sad, but that's probably how it is.
Yeah, it's like, it's that like subconscious, like I don't want to think that. I don't actually think that, like I'm not trying to dominate other women, I'm not like, that's not like, I don't care, just enjoy the game. It's just that like subconscious thought that you get like for like a split second in your head, and it's like when you're standing in the like in front of a road and your head goes jump. Like
well, I think that's just normal competitiveness. I mean, as long as you don't actually start flaming someone, it's
I
don't think it's that bad.
I would disagree. Like, okay, when you enter a game, and you have like certain teammates, right? Do you think about explicitly being better than a certain teammate? Like as a guy, do you go into a game thinking that?
Yeah, actually, sometimes. For example, if I'm playing, this MMO Final Fantasy 14, and if there's same class in the party, I will try to be better, just because.
Yeah, but it's because of the class, not because of the gender, right? It's because of the video game like situation.
Yeah, it's
Like
something that is in the video game, not something that goes beyond the screen.
Yeah.
I see.
It's like you.
But
you
I'm
don't...
just.
Have you tried playing? I don't know, any I don't know FPS games or like MOBAs. Like there, you're not thinking in your head, yeah, I have to ward more than the jungler because this and that. But like if there was a female in the team, you would think, okay, I have to hit more skill shots than that. I have to more hit, I don't know, more abilities.
Yeah, then
her.
you
It's
get
like,
comments. You get comments like, "Oh my god, I can't believe!" Like I was carrying once, and I got a comment, "I can't believe a woman is carrying us."
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that.
It's like people go in with a different mentality when they know that they have a female on their team.
Yeah, I think that's what we were trying to explain. Because I understand what you team are trying to say as well, and yeah, it's definitely valid. Like you're trying to be better than other players. Obviously, that's like the competitive.
That's the goal.
Part.
Yeah, basically what I was trying to say. Basically, what I was trying to say is that this personally to me feels like it's just the same situation. Like you're trying to be better than this other woman because she's the other woman, and I'm trying to be better than this guy because he's the same as me, he's the same class as me. So
yeah, it might be like, but I think that the thing is that the reason why this happens beyond the screen, like we said, not just this class because this guy is playing the same class as me. I think that's like the problem that we're talking about, is that it even comes to this, that you even think about the genders. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you mean, but
You're not thinking about a certain thing in the video game. It's purely based on, even if you have a worse matchup, even if you have like worse circumstances, you're still like, yo, I have to prove something because the community will see me different if I prove myself in a different way.
Right. So basically the same class thing, you can still like skill wise, right? It's a skill mechanical in-game thing, right? But gender is something that it's beyond your, like, it's
something you cannot control, and something that has no effect on your gameplay. Right? Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense.
I see. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's like if you would enter the situation thinking, oh, I have glasses and that guy doesn't, I have to be better because I have glasses, or I don't.
No. I would say that if we both had glasses, then I would have to be better because he also has glasses.
But you don't, right? That's the thing. You don't think that, right? You don't see a guy on the street and be like, God damn, he's got glasses, right?
I have to be
right?
better just
I have to be, right? That's the thing, right? That's the thing Živa's trying, right? It's like the automatic, right? You don't do that automatically, right? You would have to actually think that, right? But with gender here, it happens like, right? It just happens.
It happens to everyone. I'm not trying to like blame men or something like that.
Yeah.
It happens to us too. It happens to everyone. We just automatically.
I was just trying to understand what was the.
Yeah. No worries. We're not mad at you. We're just talking. Here I would like to start another poll that has 2 questions, and I'm just gonna launch it. You can read it for yourself. The first one is basically if you've ever like been discouraged of playing a game because of harassment or sexism, or and the second one is if you've ever been discouraged or you have been prevented from entering the actual gaming and esports industry because of sexism or harassment. Now this goes for both, not just for sexism, just general harassment as well for the guys.
I mean, guys can also be sexually harassed.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying that, we're just like basic harassment. And in the meantime, while we are waiting for the poll, let's move on to the last question, which is, what would this community, like this meetup, this community in general, what would it need to be able to reach its goal? So the goal being try to lessen the effects of sexism in gaming and harassment in the industry as well, and maybe provide like this meetup to provide some sort of like, I don't like using that word, but safe space for everyone, not just for women, for everyone, that they can express stuff that we are expressing right now. I think that it was actually really good, Tim, for you to like ask questions and stuff like that, because I think that that's really good. We can have this conversation. So what would this community need to grow and to be able to, you know, reach these goals? So I'm gonna ask Noxi this time first.
A better ban system, like IRL though. I don't really think that like a community like in general can fix it on its own, you know. Like it would be have to start, like you would have to start at the basis, like I don't know, already when you're raising a child, like I don't know, awareness I guess would be a certain thing that would help the gaming community in general to like build a safe space. But like other than that, there's not really much you can do. I mean, like having a good mentality, like learning to have a good mentality, learning to deal with certain situations better, but like that would never excuse the actions that would be taken, right? Like, yeah,
I agree. I totally agree with that. You know, it's not just the community. A lot of times the close-knit communities like these are actually not that problematic. Like you'll have a toxic person here and there. It's just this general perception, which obviously like can't just be like deleted like this, right? It's like you said, it's like either starting when, you know, they're young to teach. I think it's also like, you know, internet is not that, it's a pretty new thing if you like look at it from a big picture, right? From since the human race existed, it's a pretty new thing, right? And I think we still haven't completely understood how it affects kids. And I think
no one monitored it. You didn't come up with like, okay, let's start monitoring it from the get-go. Like even if you check like past posts or like YouTube videos or stuff like that, like people have been racist, people have been harassing each other from like day one from the internet, right? There is always like this thing where you can be anonymous, so you can like generally poke someone like if you feel like it, and you can still hide behind the monitor. Like once, like if you would take that away, I feel like people would act differently, right? Like the anonymity is like a big problem if you're like,
and also just like I feel like every generation understands it a bit better. So for example, when our generation has kids, I think it already might be like a bit better, because we're gonna understand this better as well. To teach our kids from a young age to like not do that, basically. And Rok?
So yeah, like the study of like effects of like internet and like this environment are like basically ongoing, right? We are still learning. Like for example, kids who started growing up with the internet at like what 2008 when YouTube began, right, are now like 12, right? So we still need like at least 10 years before those people turn into adults to see like what the actual effect of like internet like environments is, right? But yeah, I think, as I said, like before, education could be a good thing here in the long term, to educate the kids, to show them that this is also an environment where they interact with others, to teach them some etiquette of like how to behave on the internet, what's appropriate, what's not. Sometimes they don't know. Like we have some people come into our program and they don't even know. It takes a while, like when they come into the program, that they even realize that they were victims, right? Of like something on the internet, because it's so like, yeah, but it's just like talking.
Like Noxi said, it's just banter. It's
just
banter.
Right? And sometimes they don't even understand that what happened to them is like an act of violence, right? So definitely education and preventative work. Second is discussion, right? I think this is great. Right. I think it's great that other people have joined into the conversation. because that's like what gets like because otherwise, like if we talk about stuff, we can get stuff out and we can figure stuff out, right?
Yeah.
And the third thing is self-reflection, right? To be able to look inside yourself and, you know, for all of us right here, to ask ourselves, what kind of internet user are we really, right? If we share memes, right, not just like sexism right now, but also racism, right? If we share memes that make like fun of like racist jokes, right, is that okay? Right? Why is that okay and sexism now isn't okay, right? So it's like we need to like, you know, each one of us to sit down and be like, okay, what do I even like? Is that okay, right? Can I? What
Your
do my
own
actions?
moral compass.
Yeah, yes. What do my actions do in this world, right? Because a lot of stuff, right, as you said, Noxi, right, it can be banter, and sometimes it really is, right? They don't even, right?
Yeah,
They just
sometimes
they're
you
just
go
like,
into thinking like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it's just on the internet. It doesn't like, it's just one game, but you could actually say something that like impacts that person like really deeply. And
yeah. You don't think that
and
it's
you don't
like,
even
yeah,
think it's effective.
it's just like a joke, right? We sent like they sent like memes that are way darker, right? Like youth today, like 10 times a day, right? What's a comment on the internet, right? It's not nothing compared to the dark jokes that sometimes they have, right? Also, Tom, can I just like Tom put a comment if I can just
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, no. So there was a recent study made in the beginning of December for America's distribution of female male, and it was 50-50.
Yeah,
So we
I just
already
wanted to
are.
comment that.
Yeah,
I
we
wanted to
already are
comment.
there. Yeah, we already are there.
Yeah, I've heard that too, that we are basically like somewhere 50,
Yeah,
around 50-50, but this is still going on. So I think it's just like, it has been engraved in our heads from the beginning so much that even now that it's 50-50, people are still like, a female in a video game, oh no, right?
Yeah, what the only thing by this statistic is that it's mostly like mobile games, right?
Oh, okay.
Where
mean,
I
it's
think
I didn't know that.
yeah,
It
it still counts. I get it, but I think most people here and also the games we talked about are more like console or PC, right?
Yeah, but like even if it's not
yeah.
mobile games, even if you're talking about like, there are a lot of like, I don't know, for example, I feel like Twitch promotes this, right? Like there are probably like there is enough female streamers or female gamers that shouldn't be an issue anymore. Like
once when you mentioned streaming, right? Because all three of us also stream, right? And it's just like, I wanted to mention one more thing, since we haven't talked about, like, we just talked about gaming but not streaming that much. I was for a very long time, for like a year, I was afraid to wear anything that was more revealing than what I'm, for example, wearing today when it's cold.
same.
Because as soon as I got like just a tank top on, like it wasn't revealing, it was just a tank top. I got right away comments like, "Oh, you're a booby streamer. You're stealing our views because of your boobs." You're like,
I mean, I feel like that has like started fixing itself. I don't think like I feel like the booby stream, like if you're a girl, you're a booby streamer mentality has gone away. But obviously, if you wear something more revealing, you're still, oh, that's what makes your money. You're not actually entertaining.
They just assume that the reason why you have views is because you're a woman and not because you might actually be entertaining or maybe good at the game or something like that. So I still get those comments all the time. Even I once got a sexual comment wearing a onesie on stream, saying that I'm stealing their views because I'm a woman. I was like, no makeup and a onesie with a kitty like hat on, like curled up in a blanket like this. And I got a sexual comment, and it was like, do you really, like, I don't know, like.
See, I don't get that, right? I never get like sexual comments, right?
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Just wanted to, see, no, just as an example, right, for like the other.
And
I mean, the questions that people ask in female chats are bizarre. Like, even if you take away the booby streamers, even if you just take like, I don't know, like an average female just playing video games, sometimes the comments that you get are just as bizarre as DMs, and people feel like it's okay to like write it in Twitch chat just because, I don't know, anonymity, probably. It's like, and I don't think a guy ever experiences, or like rarely experiences getting asked for feet pics or for bad water or stuff like that.
Yeah.
When it's like,
or the one that I hear a lot is, can you pan your camera lower? Because I have my camera like this, like up to here usually. It's like, can you pan your camera lower? You know, stuff like that is also always in the chat. And when we're on this, you know, because when we were sharing of our experience, actually the one experience that I didn't want to share before, that was basically the one that hit me the most up until today. And this was like a year ago or even more, and I still think about it. I was streaming, and I even remember my moderators weren't there at the time, so they couldn't ban this guy right away. So he got to say a lot of nasty stuff to me before I managed to quickly alt-tab and ban him. This guy was like trying to make fun of my hair, basically. And I basically trolled him back because I thought that was a good idea, you know? And he wasn't very happy about me not being mad about him, like commenting on me. And so he told me, and this was the one comment that stuck in my head, and I hope it's not too vulgar, but he told me, I hope you get raped. And I am actually a rape victim from my childhood. And that was the one that like sticks with me still years later. That one comment, because we were talking about like, don't let the comments get to you and stuff like that. But there are comments like that like, I don't even understand what kind of human does that, you know?
I mean, I feel like trolling back is definitely not the solution to the problem. Like at any time, like it doesn't help. Like, yeah, you can say we're PC or like too soft, but like I don't think like trolling back once it gets like to serious comments, is like something that's gonna solve the problem.
Yeah, definitely. I thought I was being funny, but I really wasn't. So that like definitely taught me that lesson, that now is just block, ignore, move on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna show the results of the poll we did before. So I was actually very happy with the results. So no one got discouraged from finding a job in this industry, which is very good. And only 3 of you got discouraged from playing a video game, which, you know, it's valid. It's obviously like this kind of stuff happens. But we still have to, like we said, we try to like ignore and move on, but at the same time know that like your feelings are valid, that you feel mad, that you feel sad about it or whatever. Do you have anything to add, you two?
I think that's like, like it's so weird, right? That a game that's supposed to be like a fun, like safe place where you go, right, after like IRL life is hard or something, right?
Yeah.
Turns into this place that's not safe.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And even like 25%, I think it's like way still too high, right?
Yeah.
I like, there's the question is also here, can game developers do anything about it? But like, I mean,
I feel like they could be moderating chat more than they are. I don't, like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not the person that would say like I want a perfect environment where there is zero toxicity, because sometimes you see like somebody doing really bad and you're like, dude, this guy is so bad at the game. And you want to express that, and I don't think that's wrong. Like, it's sports. It's like, I think sometimes you do need banter, and you do need the competitive like mentality where you're like, yeah, okay, I can do this, I can say that, I can meme the person, but I don't think it should go beyond the like video game skill or whatever. That's like, I don't think it should go into personal insults,
like appearance, gender, stuff like that. Definitely. And I saw people mentioning in the chat as well, corpse husband. I think that's a bit of a different, I mean, definitely it's harassment. It's definitely harassment. I don't know if you guys know what corpse husband is. He got really
Right.
famous on YouTube all of a sudden, like this. It just went viral.
Okay.
And he doesn't
Okay.
show his face, and people started bullying him because of it. Like, oh, I bet he's ugly, and that's why he doesn't show his face, blah blah blah. And he basically, it became cool to hate him. People hate him without any reason, just because it's cool to hate him. So that's a bit of a different topic, I guess.
But I feel like that's like a situation for like a lot of streamers or YouTubers or like general like content creators or like you know, users of social media. Like I feel like it's generally cool to hate on something, like not even on internet, even IRL. There's always like the team you don't like in football, I don't know, the teacher you despise. You know, like it's always gonna transfer to something, and I don't think that's generally like. And
with corpse, it's not about the gender as well. Like it's just something that sadly happens on the internet sometimes. Everyone just decides to hate.
It happens IRL as well, not in the extent, because obviously like when you hate on a teacher, like I bet like most people have said something really really awful about a teacher or whatever, and it's like as long as then they don't hear it, it's fine, right? So like I don't know, on the internet it's just more visible, like corpse can actually read those comments, even though I feel like people, when they write something like that, I don't believe that most of them think it's gonna be read by him. I don't think people think he's gonna notice it or whatever, and that's like sometimes the reason why people like put someone down just to make themselves feel better, or like to be part of a community. Like obviously you don't want to be a part of a toxic community, but like you still want to belong somewhere, and if that makes you belong, you still feel like you should do it for some
your
reason.
need for like contact is fulfilled, right?
And sorry, I'm jumping a bit. I just remembered, because we were mentioning what the like industry can do to prevent stuff like sexualizing and sexism and stuff. I just remember that, like, for example, there is more than this kind of platforms could do. For example, Twitch. I don't know if you were following, but they literally just they banned words incel and simp and virgin before they banned the N-word, for example, right? Or any derogatory terms towards women. They first decided it was better to ban the word simp than to ban, I don't know, any derogatory terms.
I feel like that's because I feel like, I'm not agreeing on with Twitch in any matter, but like I feel like they banned those words because they usually led to more toxicity. For example, like if somebody said something nice, somebody called that person a simp. I feel like that because those words led into more toxicity, they got like banned or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just saying that if you're gonna be, banning words, then at least ban the actual very derogatory terms, not only sexist but also racist. And
yeah, but I feel like the racist terms are already known to be bad words, and they are bannable. Like the racism on Twitch is bannable, but like they just added a little bit more, because if you say the N-word on Twitch, I'm pretty sure you get banned.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you get perma-banned, but like you get banned for sure. So like even like non-partners get banned for that, so at least they're monitoring that. But yeah, I feel like they're trying to create a safe space there as well, but they don't do it in a proper way, or they don't
communicate it well.
Yeah,
I feel like, because that makes sense the way you explained it now, but Twitch has to explain that to us.
Yeah, Twitch should have wrote a statement that it was meant that way. I feel like people just take it, okay, those 3 words were banned for a certain reason. But I feel like because like on female streamers it went like in a certain way whenever somebody mentioned those words. Also like on male streams probably as well, or like males have used that to insult people. I mean females as well, what am I saying? But like because it leads to a more toxic behavior.
That makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, besides that, I feel like Twitch should explain that in a proper way. The one that got me was banning, I think it was like blind gaming, because if you like gone through a game, like first time. It was called blind gaming, and they banned that. Now that was something that was surping to me, and I can't really
definitely.
Twitch
It's that line of trying to create a safe space and being like too much, you know.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, okay, everybody wants a perfect world, but everybody wants to like have a space where they can also, you know, express themselves in a certain way. So like having a PC soft world is not gonna solve that problem. Like,
and on the comment of Nusha, if you're a woman, you get banned for last time. I think that is. I feel like you may be implying like alinity and streamers like that. I think it's more than being a woman is the streamers that bring in the money to them. I think they more see cash than gender here. And Alinity, for example, was a really big streamer. She'd done some really bad stuff. She threw her cat. She fed her cat vodka, and I think she didn't even get banned for that.
I mean, yes, you can say that, but I feel like
yes, team.
Summit and I think Pokimane had the same encounter, right? On the like what the type of link they opened.
Yeah.
And I think was it Summit or was it Forsen? Not sure. And I feel like they both like make a certain like amount of money that's like relevant to Twitch.
Yeah.
And I think they should have received the same punishment at that point, but they didn't. So I feel like Nusha was maybe referring to that.
Maybe. Also, they mentioned Dr. Disrespect, which is like, was it ever known why he was banned, by the way?
Nope.
Because, yeah, that's the thing, right? We don't know why he was banned. Maybe there was some stuff behind the scenes.
I think there were accusations upon Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, but it was never, nothing official, you know? That's why, yeah, I totally hear you about Dr. Disrespect. It's just... he brought a public. He got banned for that. He got banned for that, and he came back.
Yeah, and then they banned him another time, but there was no official statement why. I mean, at least we as viewers don't know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So I think there's more behind the scenes going on that we don't know about.
I mean, honestly, I think like if he doesn't go public with any like if he doesn't go completely bonkers over getting banned, I think he knows the reason. I don't think the reasons should be known to the public like as much as like the streamer. I don't know. It's just like a very questionable line between like how much do you want to like include the public in certain situations. Like, yes, streamers should know why they could get banned, but at the same time, I feel like if there are reasons outside of that and the streamer doesn't complain about it, the public doesn't have to make such a big deal about
But yeah, I'm not denying that either. It might be, we would need a statistic about this to actually know if that's true that girls get banned less than guys on Twitch. It might be true. I'm not denying it. It might be. But we like right now, I don't think we could like make that assumption from what we know.
I mean, it's Twitch is also like they're navigating like totally uncharted waters here, right?
Yeah.
Like they're like basically like they're the first company doing this kind of stuff, right? I mean, they're on the forefront, right?
Yeah.
So I think also like a bit, I mean, I don't want to give them understanding because like, I mean, they're a company to make money anyway, right? But I think it's still like reasonable for them to make mistakes, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
Right. And I don't that's not a like explanation for their behavior or like a excuse for their behavior or whatever, if it's like wrongfully banning somebody. But we're all new in this, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like there's like some codex or some like law written for 100 years and how do you like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, right. We're still figuring this out. Right. And this is the process of figuring out where people who don't deserve to get banned will get banned, and people who, right, should be banned won't get banned, right? That's like, I think, I mean, again, not excusing or something, just like a thought, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we've already started going a bit off track here. So I'm gonna be concluding this official part of the meetup. So what we learned today, basically, we just talked a little bit about what it's like trying to understand each other. Like, as Rok said, a lot of times you said you didn't even know this kind of stuff was happening to me and Noxi, for example, that are women. So I think that today was good to just open up this conversation about the sexism. In future meetups, we might talk about some more positive stuff about women in gaming as well, not just the negative. But
I think we forgot to mention that like you get some benefits from it as well, but I feel like those are less impactful than the negative, obviously.
Regarding what?
Regarding like the positive impacts it has, like
Yeah.
being a female in the industry, or
Yeah, of course. So thank you for everyone that came in today to listen to us ramble a little bit. I'm gonna paste a few links in the chat here. The first link is the little form for feedback. If you guys would like to give us some feedback, what you would like to see, how it was, just anything, how your experience was, basically. The second link I'm going to put in is the group on meetup.com. If any of you are using meetup.com, you're welcome to join our group and find out where the other meetups will take place. And the last link I'm going to put in, I promise it's the last one, is our Slack. So we can continue the conversation. We use this Slack for all the other meetups as well. So you can find the other meetups as well if you would be interested in it. But again, I can mention that we've been finally able to film this or record this from the Esports Innovation Center that we're planning to open after the epidemic. So hopefully after that, we can meet up in person as well and have a drink together. Also, I'd like to invite you to a League of Legends meetup tomorrow at 6, the same as this one was. And on Saturday, on 26th, we have a Christmas game night planned with the Reveris community. So you are all welcome. And I would like to thank our speakers, Rok and Noxi, for contributing to this conversation. If you have anything else to say,
Thanks for the invite. It was nice.
Thanks for the invite. This was really
Yeah.
enjoyable.
Well, I'm glad.
Rambling about Twitch, come on. Right? Like,
Yeah, I had to stop that Twitch conversation before we started rambling too much because I know how it gets.
Because there's a lot of things to say
Yeah.
about Twitch.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop recording the official part. I hope you enjoyed.